Hello, welcome to a new video of theorybuster. You will have to excuse my English, I'm French, so I don't have the best accent really, and my camera is pretty crap. Anyway, um, I was checking out the web some time ago and I came across a video of, what's the name? SuperCarlinBrothers about the theory of the Jedi are evil. What? Oh no, you didn't. Oh, no, no. You, you don't understand. I, but somebody has to say something. What are you doing? The Jedi are not evil. You're destroying it all. Somebody has to stop this atrocity. I'm I'm gonna do something about this. So anyway, here we are today. I thought the best way would go through the video, through his video, the Super Carlin Brothers, and just comment it. I guess. I mean, I know that might be a little bit of a dick move, but that just don't find any other way to do it. So, I mean, pretty much when I saw this video, I was just disagree with, yeah, like 90% of the video. And then I checked out, like, that was like a lot of views and a lot of like, 3,000 like against, I don't know, maybe 400 dislike. And I thought to myself, you have to inform the people. They need to know. Sure, you can just tell me, oh, come on, dude, it's only Star Wars, right? I mean, right? Yeah, well, for Star Wars fans such as myself, this is not nothing! It's important stuff. So, before we begin, I would just like to make one or two things clear. George Lucas is a fucking genius. And just to even consider that he would just write a couple of guidelines or rules for Sith and Jedi's without thinking about it, just like that, it's would be quite stupid. I mean, seriously, the entire Star Wars saga is based on Jedi's and Sith stories. I mean, without them, there is no Star Wars. That's it. Without Jedi's and Sith, Star Wars doesn't exist. So, if I were him, I would be really cautious about, you know, what codes they live by and things like that. So he would probably really, he thought this through, you know. That's not just something he wrote down for fun. It's like, oh yeah, you know, one night when he was drunk with his friend, oh yeah, let's make a guide, like a guidelines, like let's write down some rules for the Jedi's and the Sith. This will be so much fun, guys. Like, no, seriously. So I'm not going to comment the two first minutes of his videos. It's kind of an introduction of his video, and I don't have so much to say there. I mean, so I'm rather just start there.
But it's not like the Jedi are just sitting around loving one another either. In fact, they forbid it.
No, no, they don't. They don't forbid love. But for that, you have to see episode 2, was it? Here you go.
Are you allowed to love? Thought that was forbidden for a Jedi.
Attachment is forbidden. Possession is forbidden. Compassion, which I would define as unconditional love, is central to a Jedi's life. So you might say that we are encouraged to love.
Now that's pretty deep, guys. I mean, come on. Compassion, the source of unconditioned love. It's brilliant because it's true. So they're not forbidden to love, as he just said, although they're advised against it, because obviously when you love someone, it's much harder to be detached to that person. So, but they don't forbid it. They're forbidden of attachment, of material attachment as well. So, of course, you will not be able to forbid uh, complete, completely attachment. I mean, Qui-Gon Jinn loved Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan loved Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon Jinn died. How many master and student lost each other in wars? How many friends, sister, brothers did they lost? And they have to go on. They're humans before Jedis, but the way of the Jedi is to let go. Learn to let go. Listen to Yoda now.
Fear of loss is a path to the dark side.
I won't let these visions come true, Master Yoda.
Death is a natural part of life. Rejoice for those around you who transform into the Force. Mourn them, do not. Miss them, do not. Attachment leads to jealousy. The shadow of greed, that is.
What must I do, Master Yoda?
Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose.
There you go. I mean, do you know how old Yoda is? I don't know. He's a few hundred years old. I mean, just imagine how many loved ones he've lost in wars, in battle, or just of old age, or I mean, everybody dies. And the way of the Jedi is to no attachment means you learn to let go. I mean, it's a pretty deep meaning, if you ask me. It has a pretty deep meaning, and we should all take example of that. I know, right? I'm becoming a little crazy here, but that no, I think it's really far from evil. I mean, when you're gonna die, you're gonna die. I mean, it doesn't matter if you have 300 million on your account, or if you have 1,000 friends on Facebook, or if you have a wife and kids. I mean, you will die. Everybody will. So what can you do but let go?
Again, look at Anakin, driven to madness because he was not allowed by the Jedi to love the woman he loved.
Whoa, just 1 second. Anakin was not driven to madness because he was not allowed to love Padme. He was driven to madness because of the fear of losing her.
The fear of loss is a path to the dark side.
Thank you, Yoda.
So what are the Jedi rules? Well, I know there's a bunch of versions of this, but here are the basics of the Jedi Code. There is no emotion, there is peace. There is no ignorance, there is knowledge. There is no passion, there is serenity. There is no chaos, only harmony. There is no death, there is the Force. Before we continue, I think this is a good spot to point out that if you are a user of the Force, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a Jedi or a Sith. These rules don't apply to you to use the Force, only to be within the Jedi Order. However, it's unlikely that you'll be able to train yourself to use the Force without the help of the Jedi or the Sith, so you'll probably have to fall into these rules. So let's break it down. There is no emotion, there is peace.
Oh, peace, that sounds so good, but wait, what was that first part? No emotion? Guess I can do the rest of the video like this. No emotion? Are they crazy? I mean,
Yeah, right?
to wrap your head around, but basically
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
a very, like, stock Sherlock
stupid.
logic
I mean,
conquers all the needs of
what?
the many outweigh the needs of
Wait,
the few,
what are
no
you
matter
talking about?
what
Wait,
kind of
no.
thinking. And I know the needs
No,
of
you
the many
don't
outweigh
get
the
it.
needs of
Wait,
the few
just
is a
wait a
lovely
second.
public message for the
You just said it yourself. It's stupid. So just no, just stop it. Just stop talking. Stop. Just what is wrong with you? You just said it yourself. It's pretty crazy, right? It's stupid. Why do you continue babbling about a theory that makes no sense and that's stupid? Then why don't you try to find another explanation that makes more sense? I don't understand. Okay, first off, when you analyze a sentence, you have to analyze the whole sentence. You cannot just take the beginning of the sentence, one word, analyze that word, and then another word, and analyze that word differently apart. No, it's one sentence. You have to look at it as a whole. I mean, it's pretty basic. Like in religion or philosophy, that's how you proceed. You don't like a sentence that have a deeper meaning. You don't just analyze a few words and then just break it down like this. It's just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You see? Now let's read it again and let's try to be smart about this. I mean, it probably hold a deeper meaning than just that. George Lucas, guys, come on. There is no emotion, there is peace. I mean, simply what he wants to say is that whenever you become a Jedi, you cannot let your emotion overcome you. You cannot let your emotion cloud your judgments. And I mean, we can also relate to it in our daily lives. I mean, seriously, when you react emotionally about something, you say things and you do things to others that you will regret. Just imagine a Jedi that react and too emotionally. I mean, those guys have lightsabers and they're pretty powerful. So if some people shouldn't get too emotional about some events, it's them. And so I think what the sentence tells us is that they should be at peace with these conflicted emotions. Yeah, you lost your mama, you have to be at peace with that. I know it's not easy, but you know, everybody dies. I know. You have to learn to let go. Anyway, this, I could just go on and go on. I'm just gonna give my vision of what the sentence means, and I have no problem with that, and I see no evil in that sentence. You should not let yourself overcome by your emotion and cloud your judgment. You must be at peace with them. Easy. I mean,
This is why the Jedi are not allowed to have emotional attachments or relationships, because it could impair their judgment in a situation. Would you let your wife die instead of saving a bus full of strangers? I mean, certainly saving more people is greater than saving one, and those are the impossible kind of decisions the Jedi would be in if they were allowed to have relationships. Because even if in that situation you had the emotional clarity to save the people and let your wife die, you'd be filled with that guilt for the rest of your life.
are you serious? I mean, they're not robots. It's not because it's written something you don't understand, because obviously you did not understand that first sentence. But anyway, I have some pretty good example in the movies that I can show you right now.
Batman! Put the ship down! Anakin! Don't let your personal feelings get in the way. Follow that speeder! Lower the ship! I can't take Dooku alone! I need you! If we catch him, we can end this war right now! We have a job to do! I don't care! Put the ship down! You will be expelled from the Jedi Order! I can't leave her! Come to your senses! What do you think Padme would do were she in your position?
She would do her duty.
You see here, Obi-Wan, telling his apprentice Anakin, he's reminding him of his duty, and that even if he goes down there anyway, there's nothing really can do for her. So I think it's, but their judgments. So then we have this other one. Yoda could have defeated Count Dooku and stopped the war, but instead, he saved Obi-Wan and Anakin. You see, so did he not abide through the rule? I mean, one of the greatest Jedi Master of all time didn't abide to the rule? No, he did not, because that's not a rule, first off. And second, they do use judgments. They're not stupid and they're not machines. So he used judgments in the end. I mean, there you go. I think, wait, are we still talking about the first sentence? I think I've proved my point already. I explained it, and I think my version of the meaning of that sentence is probably closer to the truth or to the message of George Lucas than yours, friend.
So no attachments. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy? What did I just say?
Do you nothing that I say?
You do not understand. How long does it take to a Padawan to become a full-grown Jedi? Or Master? Years! It takes years of mind training and meditation. There is no easy peasy in that. You think it's easy to become a Jedi? Everybody would be a Jedi otherwise. There is no comment on this. It's just...
Except that again, it's impossible to not have an attachment or a relationship with anyone. I mean, it's basically the definition of interaction. And even the Jedi seem to have some concern for their Padawans and respect for their leaders, do they not?
So let's just go to the next sentence, because I mean, I already proved my point, and
There is no ignorance, only knowledge. Well, that doesn't sound that bad. I mean, just the pursuit of knowledge, I think we can all agree that's a good thing, right? And while the Jedi are always searching for new knowledge about the galaxy and the Force, they're not very good about sharing that information.
okay. Before going further, of course, they're not gonna share their knowledge with everyone. These guys worked hard to find that knowledge. I could talk for hours about that, but basically, knowledge is power. Power in the hands of the ignorant or in the hands of untrained, how do you say? In the hand of just anyone can be very dangerous. You cannot give every information to everyone. It could fall in the wrong hands, and then you could start wars with that. I mean, just imagine a second. If they would share information about that planet, I don't remember the name, where they make clone warriors, did they just share that information with the universe? Oh, that's very nice. But the problem is that people like the Hut, remember the Huts? They're fucking rich. I mean, those guys, if they knew that would be a planet that can just raise armies like that for a few dollars coin, they would start a new galaxy war like this. It would be pretty fucked up. So, again, thank you, the Jedi, for keeping this information from everyone, because it can fall in the wrong hands and it could be much worse. So if there is people wise enough to keep that knowledge from others, who better than the Jedi, especially the Masters?
And I understand not wanting people to gain enough power to disrupt the peace. But peace according to who? The Jedi? What gives them the right? It's not like they were elected or anything.
Okay, about that, peace according to who? Peace is a pretty simple concept, really, when it's not being used by the government to do what they please. Let me explain myself. Whenever they don't want someone with important information to talk, they would close his mouth, probably throw him into jail or into a madhouse and say, oh yeah, he was disturbing the peace. But this is not peace as the Jedi views it, I think. I mean, it's pretty safe to say that they prevent war. They even fight war for free. For free. So they don't need to be elected. These guys are not part of any government or any entities other than their temple, and they use their knowledge and power to help others. So everything gives them the right to help others. I don't see anything wrong with that. Of course, it's also a question of judgment. You can tell me, yeah, but peace according to them. So that means that if someone learns some power of the Force and don't abide to their rules, they would probably attack him or something. Like, I think sometimes you're just over analyzing parts that are not important and not analyzing enough parts that are important. Do I make any sense?
There is no passion. There is serenity. Serenity now! This is kind of in the same vein as the first statement. You need a cool, logical, serene mind versus a passionate one? Oh, yeah, right. Because, of course, we wouldn't want our peacekeepers to, be passionate about keeping the peace.
So yeah, it is pretty much like the first one, but unlike you say, cool, logical. Like, why logical? I mean, when you see Yoda saving his two Jedi apprentice, do you think it was logical? I mean, he could have stopped the war like this by killing Kondoku, and therefore saving thousands, millions of lives, but he didn't. He used his judgment. He's still he still does have emotion, you see. So given the circumstances, they cannot always abide to their rules. And besides, I don't like to refer these as rules. They're not rules, they're merely guidelines to help you understand the Force. And so I don't understand where you're going with the logical. It's not logical, it's just. So there is no passion, there is serenity. Now, one of the only thing I agree with you is that it's very much like the first sentence. And actually, when I read that, I thought to myself, why did George Lucas put 2 times the same thing? Well, and then I got it. Because some people didn't get it the first time. When he thought it would be quite tricky to understand, he was like, well, let's put another one in a different way. Maybe people will grasp what I mean. Unfortunately, nah, people still didn't understand. I think you should have put just one sentence in 5 different ways so people could get it. Get it?
And of course, when I say peacekeepers, I of course mean war generals. Can I just point out that I think it's weird that the peaceful and serene Jedi all carry weapons and are literally the generals of the Republic Army?
You can't be serious. I mean, come on. Of course Jedis carry weapons. How the fuck they gonna defend people if they have no weapon? Have you seen a policeman with no gun? Well, I'm sure it exists, but it won't do much. I mean, seriously, in the Star Wars universe, there is all sort of creatures. There is mercenaries, Sith Lords, like crazy sort of danger menacing the peace and the well-being of the people. And you would like the Jedis to carry no weapon? They'd be dead in a week. I mean, come on. Let's just be serious. Not wanting the Jedi to have weapon because they're supposed to keep the peace. It's like asking some bank robbers to rob a bank without guns. What's the point? And about them being war generals, how many times did this happen in the Star Wars saga? Only during the Clone War. That's it. And it's rather probably, I would more imagine that the Senate, the actual government, would ask them, the wise Jedi, to lead their units and their military into victory. Because they're smarter, they know the ways of the Force, and they're wiser than anybody else. So, of course, they would be asking them first to lead the forces. I don't really think that Jedi would be forcing their way in, like, oh no, we want to be the generals, you know, like we want to. That doesn't make no sense. I really don't think it really matters that for one war event called the Clone War within the universe of Star Wars. It's really a small part. And they were okay generals. Big deal. They fight for truth, they fight for justice, and they fight in the front line. I think it's pretty incredible. As I just said before, there is no passion, there is serenity. It's the same as the first one, meaning you should not let your passion drive your actions. You should be at peace and let your inner self be serene, and then you will be able to take a good course of action. You see, just like I said before, when you're pissed about something, maybe your girlfriend or whoever, it happens to everyone, and then you say stuff you regret, you do stuff you regret, but then it's over. It's done. The thing has been done. So when you're a Jedi and you do things that later you'll regret, oh, sorry, I just cut your head. Well, that's too late, buddy. Therefore, they have to be driven by those guidelines that says you must act with inner peace and serenity. Oh.
Okay, cool. There is no chaos. There is harmony. Okay, well that is just blatantly incorrect.
So certain are you?
There's no light without shadow. There's no peace without conflict. You can't have one without the other. So I just don't even think that makes sense.
Of course it don't make sense. You know why? Because your analysis is wrong.
That is why you fail.
Let me explain. First off, you have to understand the words in a sentence if you want to analyze the sentence. Of course, as I just said before, you cannot just take a part of the word and analyze half the sentence and then analyze another different half of the sentence. No, you have to understand each words, put them together, and then make an analysis. Sorry. So, let's just understand each words first. There is no chaos. What is chaos? You see, you can find the definition of chaos in any dictionaries. I just went on internet and went on the free dictionary. Now let's see what they say on the internet on the free dictionary. Chaos. 1. A condition or place of great disorder or confusion. Another one. 2. A disorderly mass, a jumble. Example, the desk was a chaos of paper and unopened letters. Okay, whatever. Number 3, often chaos, the disordered states of unformed matter and infinite space, supposed in some cosmogonic views, yeah, okay, that's a little long, sorry, to have existed before the ordered universe. Now that's really interesting, especially in that sentence, you guys. Just let's read this one again. Okay, I have to read it all. Often, chaos, the disordered state of unformed matter and infinite space, supposed in some cosmologic view to have existed before the ordered universe. So, in short, chaos, the disorder, would have existed before ordered universe. That's, just keep that in mind because it's really interesting. Okay, now the second part, which is only harmony. Now we have to put that together. We cannot just take, like before I say, you cannot just take one word, analyze it, and take his own meaning, and then the other part of the sentence take his own meaning. No, you have to put it together and understand the meaning of the sentence as a whole. So we say there is no chaos, only harmony. Now, a common mistake that people do with chaos, and that you did, my friend, is that you associate it with evil. Chaos is not evil. Chaos is not good. Chaos is just chaos. There is just let's say, for instance, a succession of events without link together, without purpose driven, without meaning or purpose or goal. It's chaotic, yeah? And then we have harmony, which is basically the opposite of chaos. Now, if we search, so now let's search it in the same dictionary. So, dictionary. So, harmony here. So, we have number one, agreement in feeling or opinion, okay, whatever. That's one. Number two, we have a pleasing combination of element in a whole. Okay, we're getting a little closer, I think. Example, color, harmony. And wait a second, the order and harmony of the universe. This is in a free dictionary you can find, and this is particularly interesting for this sentence. On one side, you have disorderly chaos, no purpose, just plain chaos. And the other side, you have the order and harmony of the universe. Everything happened for a reason. All of these is philosophically valued. I mean, this is pretty deep. You cannot just say it like this and be like, oh, that's pretty dumb. No, this is pretty deep. So I really think what they mean by that, I mean, what George Lucas meant by that, there is no chaos, there is only harmony, simply means that the Jedi believes in a world that is purpose driven. Nothing happens for no reason. You see, that's more in this way that this sentence would be understood. And I don't know, I'm probably scratching only the surface. I mean, how long does it take for Padawan? How many years for him to understand those rules? You see, and we think we can do that in a 5-minute video on YouTube? Come on. Okay, No! It makes no sense. Once again. And it makes no sense because you don't understand. You don't understand. As I just said, just if you don't understand the words of a sentence, you cannot understand its meaning. Just go to see the dictionary and search chaos and harmony, and then you will probably come closer. You have to forget what you believe about right and wrong and good and evil.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Chaos is just chaos. It's not evil or good. It's just disorder. Anyway, I think I proved my point. Let's continue with that. I mean,
thing for the Jedi. They must detach themselves from their inner turmoil in order to be at harmony. But wouldn't like removing all conflict from your inner self stop you from trying to better yourself? No, the Jedi.
What are you talking about?
Inner conflict. I mean, it just seems counterproductive if you ask me. And are they just
you're just going further and further away from the
good peacekeeping? In fact, to me, it sounds ignorant. There's some knowledge for you, Jedi. And lastly, there is...
You want knowledge? Look at your fucking dictionary! The dictionary! Okay, sorry. It just kind of get on my nerve sometimes.
And lastly, there is no death. There is only the Force. Okay, well that seems like pretty fair game for most religions. There is an afterlife, you join the Force, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, listen, I'm not religious myself, you see, but still I can understand the value of a book that's been here for around over 2,000 years and is still being read by people. So, if it was complete bullshit and crap, it would have been forgotten long ago. Now, as I said, I'm not really religious, but You have to understand that George Lucas, although I think he's a genius, he didn't really invented anything there. He just went. That goes for all the sentences of the Jedi living like rules things. I mean, all those values are in Bible or the Quran or philosophy like the Buddhism, or there's plenty of different way of viewing the world. There is some that believe in reincarnation, some believe that the soul transcend into something else or somewhere else. So there is plenty of serious and smart people that really do believe in this kind of thing. You cannot just go blah 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 on all of them, dude. Come on. And I think it was a pretty smart thing to do for George Lucas to introduce this all these way of thinking into his saga. There is no death, there is only the Force. They view death as kind of a transcendence. You just join the Force. When you attain a certain level of knowledge, like Obi-Wan or Yoda, you can actually overcome death and join the Force fully. You remember in the end of the movies when you can see their soul, like beside Luke Skywalker in the end of the Return of the Jedi? Here we go. I mean, yeah, I don't think anything wrong with that, or evil, or stupid. This is pretty deep.
Then the Jedi undoubtedly live harsh lives and apparently in the name of peace. But again, peace according to who? The elected members of the Galactic Senate they claim to defend?
Claim to defend? I mean, how many Jedi did they lost trying to save their asses? Like when they're the generals in the front line of the army, it's a pretty crazy, incredible dedication. Did you see on our world, human world, any general be in front of their troop charging in? Hell no. Only Jedi do that in the movies. Of course, they're only movies. They are out there fighting head front. So they don't pretend, they do.
The fact is, the Senate is at the mercy of the Jedi who will not share their vast knowledge of the galaxy with those who have been elected to run it.
Okay, we already talked about that. They don't need to share knowledge with people that are not ready to receive that knowledge yet. It's too dangerous. And besides, they are not elected by anyone. They're a private entity. Therefore, they can do what they please with their knowledge, and they use it to help people. So there's nothing wrong with that. The Senate is at the mercy of the Jedi? You really believe that? Have you seen The Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3? You can clearly see that's not true. Senator Palpatine is forcing the Jedi Council to, he's basically forcing their hands to take Anakin in the council as a member of the council, although he's not allowed because he's not a master yet. And they don't like too much that idea, but they do it because the Senate, the first representative of the Senate, asked them to. So the Senate is not at the mercy of the Jedi. It's the other way around.
And the Jedi, who will not accept new members into their order except by their own choosing. And of course, by choosing, I mean the removing of children from their homes at a very young age to be raised in a very harsh religious environment.
Okay, I'm not very fast. You talk super fast compared to me. I'm like super slow, but sometimes I rather talk slow so people can understand what I'm saying. Have you read some Star Wars book? I know you said you only saw the movies, but you've seen all of them? I mean, where, when, how did you see that they were removing kids from their families? They're not removing. They go talk to their parents. They're like, this child is very gifted with the Force. He would be a great opportunity for him and for us to be able to train him. And they only take them with their parents' consents. They don't remove them, dude. Hey, are you crazy? They're not Sith Lord. That's the Sith. They do that. They go in a rampage. They take some kids away. That's the Sith tactic. Okay, Jedi's don't do that. They talk to the parents. And let's face it here. In the movies, we see who? Anakin, who is pretty much a slave. Well, he lives with his mother, but he's a slave and has no future. And a Jedi arrives and give him a new future. He tells him and his mother that he can become something more, something else, something that can change the face of the universe. He can become a freaking Jedi. And but it's still them to choose. Yeah, sure. I'd rather just stay here as a slave. I think it's more safe. Are you kidding me? What is the second person? He was not a child, but he was Luke Skywalker, who was a farmer. I mean, I have nothing against farmer, but like he aspired to greatness. He aspired to um, view the world, to travel. He wanted to be a pilot, and he has the opportunity to be a Jedi. Let's do it. So once again, just be careful about what you're saying because nobody's removing anybody. They always do this with the parent consent, and most of the time they are hell yeah, get out of here. Be a Jedi Knight. Be a badass.
So Ben, my question for you and everybody else is, Jedi, infallible superheroes of the galaxy, or... No, Ben, I did not come up with all of this on my own. I've left a link in the description that goes into much more detail about the evilness of the Jedi. I encourage all of you to please go check it out.
Okay. Now that he explains it, I went on that site. Well, I have to be honest, I didn't read it all because it's so fucking long. But I realized that it was a kid that wrote that. I don't know. Did he go over second grade? Anyway, I don't want to be an ass. I'm kind of being an ass. Well, sorry about that. But I mean, when I saw that video, I think I don't really need to read all of what the kid says. It's probably kind of the same, or even if it's a little different, it's probably not very smart. I actually did read a little bit, but then I just had to stop because they just don't get it. Once again, I hope you enjoyed that video, even though I've kind of okay, I'm being a dick. But you know, I'm just tired of people babbling when they don't get it. Just take a dictionary, read a little bit of philosophy, and learn a little bit more and think it through. You know, when something doesn't work and doesn't make sense, don't continue that path. It's probably not the right one, right? I mean, seriously. So I hope you enjoyed that video. This is really should not be a personal attack or anything. I have nothing against the guy. If I have offended you in any way, what's your name? Oh crap. Just wait a second. SuperCarlinBrothers. If I have offended you guys in any ways, I apologize. I hope this video enlighten some people, and that's what all there is to it. I don't want to prove people right or wrong. I just do this because I think it's interesting to share. So I hope you like it. You can leave a comment. You can please don't insult me. No, I mean you can insult me if you feel like it, but I just don't think it's very constructive. You know. So see you guys and peace.